So here's what really happened, and why the timing behind it matters far more than the royal family wants anyone to notice. Just hours after Prince Harry made that surprise appearance on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, relaxed, charming, witty King Charles quietly pressed post on a sentimental, carefully curated message on the royal Instagram page. Now, Charles posting something poetic isn't unusual. But posting it right after Harry casually joked on national television about recording a self-tape and dealing with certain lawsuits involving very powerful forces. That timing, not accidental, not subtle, and definitely not meaningless. Harry's moment humour as a weapon. Harry walked onto that Late Show stage with confident shoulders back, smiling, fully comfortable in a way we didn't see during the years he spent being the spare. He cracked that now famous joke about lawsuits, power structures, and people trying to shape his story. And the moment he did, something shifted. The audience roared with laughter. But the people watching closely, the commentators, the journalists, the palace staffers glued to social media, felt the punch. Because Harry wasn't just telling a joke. He was sending a message. It was wit sharpened into honesty. It was the classic role of the jester, the only person in the kingdom allowed to speak the truth in public without being punished for it. But this time, the jester wasn't entertaining the court. He was exposing it. In one short moment, Harry reframed his entire conflict. Not as a feud between father and son, not as sibling rivalry, not even as a royal scandal, but as a fight against an entrenched institution and the unseen forces behind it. That's powerful, that's dangerous for the palace, and that's exactly why the joke travelled so far, so fast. Clips of that moment spread across TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, millions of views within hours. Harry had taken control of the narrative with a single line, delivered with a smile. The palace response. A gentle PR deflection. Now, here's where things get interesting. Instead of issuing a formal statement, instead of ignoring the moment, and instead of addressing the public buzz around Harry's joke, the King's team chose a different strategy. A soft, subtle, sweet-sounding Instagram post. A quote from Charles's recent Windsor State banquet speech. All about partnership, unity, global transformation, compassion, stability, words that are beautiful, polished, inoffensive, and timed with absolute precision. The message didn't mention Harry. It didn't reference The Late Show. It didn't reference the joke. But that silence spoke louder than any official statement. The palace doesn't confront, it diverts. And the King's post was textbook royal crisis management. A serene image, a comforting message, an elegant distraction, designed to pull public attention back to the institution, back to tradition, back to the safe, stable image of the crown. But here's the irony. The distraction backfired. Why the King's post actually confirmed Harry's power. Because the moment the palace tries to redirect attention, they reveal something. They noticed, they cared, they felt the impact. If Harry's comments were irrelevant, they would have ignored them completely. That's the real royal playbook. Silence, denial, erasure. But instead, they responded in the only way they could without giving Harry more ammunition. Indirectly, symbolically, dressed up as a routine post. The King's message, which should have felt timeless, suddenly felt reactive. People saw the timing. People caught the subtext. People recognized the pattern. And without saying a single word about Harry, the King essentially admitted. Harry's influence reached Buckingham Palace within hours. Harry, the son who stepped away. Harry, the prince the press tried to paint as irrelevant. Harry, who was supposed to fade quietly into celebrity oblivion. Instead, he made a joke, and the monarchy blinked. A digital tug-of-war. We are witnessing something new in royal history. A father and son communicating through public platforms, not private conversations. Harry uses modern media, late-night shows, documentaries, books, podcast moments, off-the-cuff humour to speak directly to the people. Charles uses tradition formal speeches, symbolic imagery, Instagram posts polished by a communications team. Two men, two platforms, two visions for the monarchy, and both are trying to win the same audience. Harry appeals through humanity, vulnerability, humour, authenticity. Charles appeals through legacy symbolism, continuity, stability. The platforms they choose say everything. Harry is modern, Charles is traditional, and both are rewriting the rules of how royals communicate. The palace playbook and why it's cracking for centuries, the monarchy controlled narratives through silence and carefully managed imagery. A single photograph could reshape public perception. A statement could calm the storm. But not anymore. Because now royals don't just exist as symbols, they exist as personalities. They have Instagram accounts. They appear on podcasts. They give unscripted interviews. They make jokes that become global memes. And the palace's old tools, press releases, photo ops, staged events no longer outweigh the raw authenticity of a prince who simply says what he thinks. This is why the King's Post, instead of calming the waters, made the waves higher. It confirmed Harry is not just a prince who left. He's a prince who won't be silenced. Two competing futures for the monarchy. This moment between father and son represents something deeper. Two visions of royal power. Charles represents the institution, hierarchy, tradition, controlled messaging. Harry represents the individual, honesty, modernity, independence. And the public is increasingly drawn to the latter, not because they reject monarchy, but because they crave authenticity in a world drowning in PR. People connect with Harry because he's real. They see themselves in his humour, his frustrations, his vulnerabilities. He's not performing royalty. He's being human. That's the threat and the opportunity that the palace can no longer ignore. The final question. So now we're left with the big lingering question. Was the king trying to distract from Harry's moment? A strategic PR diversion? A subtle redirection? A quiet acknowledgement of royal vulnerability? Or was it simply another episode in the ongoing saga of the Windsors scrambling to maintain control while Harry thrives effortlessly without their machinery? One thing is clear. Control of the royal narrative is slipping through the palace's fingers, and Harry, whether through humour, honesty or pure timing, is forcing the monarchy to evolve or be exposed. The story of kings and princes has always been ancient. But today, the audience is no longer passive. We comment, we analyse, we scrutinise, we share, we amplify, we shape the story just as much as they do. And the final chapter of who controls the royal narrative, the crown, or the one who walked away, is still being written. So tell me, what do you think? Was King Charles attempting a distraction? Was it a PR manoeuvre? Or was it just another sign of the palace reacting while Harry remains 10 steps ahead? Drop your thoughts in the comments.